going into this painting, I really thought I had a pretty solid idea in mind. I knew I wanted a soft green, blurry background with a nice pink rose, and even though my end result is pretty much that, this artwork went through so much transformation, and it really pushed me not only to trust my artistic abilities, but to trust my instincts, because usually I would plan out an artwork in advance, and I would plan it out in the finest details. I would design my compositions in Photoshop, and I would adjust the colors more or less to what I wanted to be. So by the time I start the artwork, I have a pretty clear vision of what I'm going for. But with this painting, I had this small canvas, A4 size, just laying around, and I wanted to paint a flower on it, and I thought I'm not going to put too much effort in this, it's going to be a side project. And I only had a few photos of different blurry backgrounds that I sort of liked, and a few roses that I liked the shape of, and a few roses that I liked the color of, and I sort of just went with that. Now, I pretty soon realized that I didn't like the background, so you can see me now just going over it again and again and just changing it up and making it more almost of a very soft bokeh effect. And even though it looks like I'm using a lot of paint and painting over what I did, I always thin out my paint a bit, so each layer that I put on top of the other one has somewhat of a transparency, so you can't really see it on camera, but the light fractures through the layers of paint, which gives it a really nice illuminated effect. So by the time that the background started coming together and I sort of started liking what I was doing, I realized that the rose was way too small. Absolutely way too small. I didn't even know what I was thinking when I did the rose in the beginning, because it actually, looking back, was very small from the beginning. But as you can see, I sort of just started to paint almost over the rose. I didn't really care because I knew I was going to have to change the rose. Now, I did like the inside of that rose, but this is where I really had to trust myself, because it's very easy to create a soft, blurry background and trust yourself. Well, not very easy, but it is easy. And doing a rose is a little bit different, because now the rose that I liked and that I wanted to use was way too small, and I didn't want to do that exact rose just bigger. I felt like it needed a rose that is a little bit more bulky, so I just kept the center part of the rose the same, and then I looked at a bunch of different reference photos of roses in more or less the same angle, and I just created my own petals around the center part. So you'll see as we go on that the rose itself also had a lot of layers, and sometimes, especially on camera, some of the layers can look very unnecessary because it almost looks like I'm covering everything I did in the previous layer, which I'm actually not, because like I mentioned, my paint is always slightly thinned out. I very rarely paint straight out of the tube, so each layer that I put on top of the other one is slightly transparent, just leaving enough of the previous layer to seep through a little bit. Now, if you do like this artwork, I would really like for you to join me on Instagram. I will leave my Instagram link down below where you can follow me, and then you can see all of the new projects that I'm working on. I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video and supporting my channel. If you're not subscribed already, I would like to invite you to subscribe to my channel. It's free, and then you can also click the notification bell to get a reminder whenever I upload, and then I'll speak to you all very soon. Bye!